Hi there, welcome to the business edition of PM Express with me, Philip Nanfuri. Now on tonight's chopping board, we're looking at government's enormous and growing expenditure. And we're asking ourselves if indeed this is a path to debt and distress, or it's a path to growth and goals. And I have two guests that are going to help me sift through all the jargon and make you and I better informed. My first guest in studio, Nana Osei Bonsu, he's the CEO of the Private Enterprise Federation, PEF. And Dr. Richmond Ituahini, he's a financial consultant. He's also the CEO of Salman Partners and Financial Consult Limited. He I spoke to earlier on today and will share his insights with you, and then we'll continue our conversation with Nana Osei Bonsu. We'll be looking at issues that came out of the mid-year review, particularly on the issue of expenditure and whether we should be wary of government's growing expenditure, and other issues that came out, the taxes that they've placed on products that you and I will have to demand whether we like it or not, and the financial sector cleanup. Finance Minister said it's going to cost us in total about 21 billion Ghana cedis. That's between $3 and $4 billion. And we ask ourselves, is this the end? Well, some of my guests disagree with that. But let's listen to Dr. Richmond Ituahini, financial consultant, and he's going to share his insights on the mid-year review and what came out of it. So the finance minister came to Parliament on Monday. He presented his mid-year review. He's asked us for more money and he's given us more taxes. Now he planned to spend 78 billion for 2019, and now he's asked for 6 billion extra, and he's going to spend 84 to 85 billion Ghana cedis. Now, to the uninformed, somebody will say the finance minister is spending too much. What do you think?
Thank you very much. I think that he should have stayed within what he has done earlier rather than going for, because the economy is not really seeing growth at all. Times are very hard. If you ask businessmen and if you ask them, times are very hard. So I would have thought that financial discipline, he should have stayed, at least stay within what originally he presented. It looks to me that it's too aggressive. The reason why I'm saying that, none of the targets set in the first half was achieved. So I'm wondering what informed decision has he gotten that he's changed that to grow it further than. So I would have advised him to have stayed within what he had earlier and see if we can achieve the taxes to be able to come near the difference between the expenditure and the policy that he's setting up around.
He makes the argument that the energy contracts, the power purchase agreements, the take or pay has reduced the room that he has for spending. So this is one of the reasons why he needs more, because it's taking up most of the money we are raising through revenue, tax revenue and tax revenue. What would you make of that argument?
Well, how long has it, is it the third budget he has made?
Yes, 2017-2020.
Why didn't he talk about this the first day? Now we have lost $500 million, multiplied by whatever rate. It means we've lost about $1.5 billion of revenue. Why is he talking about it now and he never talked about it the last time? Is it negligence or what? I thought that the take and pay, if immediately you came into power, that should have been the first review you should have done. It is too late for us to come now to say that because of that you're tight. I would have thought that being very proactive, she should have done that earlier. So now he's coming back, I haven't done that, can you let me do this? What assurances do we have that we can generate the revenue that he anticipates? That's where my problem is. I don't want to seem that a prophet of a doom. The borrowing is becoming quite unbelievable. I mean, we started from 122, today we are 204 billion. To me, it's too astronomical. The predecessor started with 95 billion. He came to 122 billion for the period of 8 years. And then we're talking about only 3 years. We are close to 80 billion. To me, we are running too much.
The issue of debt keeps on coming up, Doc. Some make the argument that due to the rigidities in the system, the fact that most of the revenue is taken by wages and salaries, interest payments and grants to the government units, the Dischargeable Common Fund, the GET Fund, etc. So therefore, we need to borrow. And if this borrowing is being used for projects that will pay for themselves, then what's the issue? Unless we're not using the borrowing for the right stuff. That's what the problem is. What do you make of that?
You see, I'll give you a history. In 2008, 2007, when Ghana borrowed the first debt, 750 billion, would you care to know that after the change of government, 60% were used for salaries, public sector salaries?
And how do we justify this?
How do we justify this? How do we justify it? Borrowing to consume, it means we cannot repay it in any time. So for me, just borrowing and consuming is nothing to talk about. You're talking about wages. In other jurisdictions, the wages should have been frozen. Now we are still adding on the wages, the NAPCOP and what have you. They're all adding to the wages. The IMF in 2014 advised the country to freeze the wages and stop unemployment of people to the public sector. That was one of the conditions set by IMF when the country went there in 2014. And I was thinking that to be very prudent, we need to look at the wages and the salaries, because 60% to 70% goes into, you're left with nothing.
But Doc, somebody would disagree with you and say, where are your facts? What is the basis for you saying that we've used 60% to pay salaries and wages?
Oh, it has been said all along that majority of the revenues go into paying salaries and wages. So we are left with, if you care, we are left with less than 8 billion for capital expenditure. We are servicing paying salaries, and we are servicing the debt and interest. We are left with little for capital expenditure. And if we go on the way we are going, we will live in abject poverty for the rest of God knows.
My question has to do with the 750 million euro bond. Somebody listening to us or watching us will disagree with you and say, where did Dr. Etienne get his facts from?
I got it from Paul Adam in 2015, African Research Institute. Paul Adam, 2015, African Research Institute. I'm quoting him direct. It is here. He did the work and found out that there were promises that were made. You know, when we make too much electoral promises without even knowing where we're going to get the money from. And at that time, the change of government, part of the money went to pay wages. If you go, you can check. Paul Adams 2015, African Research Institute. It's clearly there. Anybody can go and read. I never wrote it. I read from that.
So, Doc, we have a situation where we are spending a lot on recurrent expenditure. I was looking at the numbers of capital expenditure, and it's been dwindling marginally. It's been going down.
Yeah.
And I asked myself, so this trap we are in is still going to continue because we'll have to borrow to finance these projects, and the cycle continues.
You know, we need to have a cost-cutting measures. I mean, I just want to make a joke of it. In 2014, when there was the, I think 2014 World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
We spent so much to supporters to go and watch, isn't it? And we are doing the same thing. Where does that money come from? It comes from taxes. So are you taking taxes to go and support football, putting a lot of people going to stay there, and the budget that the sports minister said, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. We are living in affluence. We should be able to cut costs to barest minimum until we get to maybe 50% of the debt GDP ratio. Today we are 59. We are almost 0.9, 0.8. We get to the distress point. Now we are the highest distress. 60 assets by the World Bank and the IMF is 60. When we get there, we are a distressed country. And nobody wants to deal with a distressed country. Nobody.
Doc, from your submissions, one would say all hope is lost. Is there anything that can be done? You have mentioned cost cutting as one.
Freezing of public sector wages.
Doc, the question everybody asks is the political willpower to do it. We know the solutions. Why don't we just do it?
You have political willpower to borrow, but you don't have political willpower to cut your cost. And then we are in a dire straits. We're not going to get out of it. Because you see, the issue coming up is very dangerous. Formerly, we were borrowing from the multilateral and the bilateral donors. They can give you a debt relief. But if you're borrowing from commercial sector, our debt structure has now changed.
Yes, true.
And it makes it more dangerous. It happened in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka borrowed money like that. And when they borrowed money, it defaulted. The Chinese went there and took over their running of the assets. And it's happening in Argentina. There is a law in Argentina when they defaulted. in those companies, those institutions went there and seized a lot of things. So you see, we are getting towards to that point that we should slow down the borrowing, and begin to see what are the innovative ways. Let me tell you one of the innovative ways. I learned from the former World Bank president in Ghana, the resident manager. Before he left, he made a very, very solid point, and I thought we would have adopted it. Although Dr. Baumia has written about it in 2010, I have the book in my office here. He said that digitizing the formal sector through addressing system.
Yeah.
He said it. Dr. Baumia has said it 2010. I've read it. If you digitize the formal system by even addressing system, the World Bank, if every house in the whole country was paying a property rate of even 5 cedis, count it. Is it not better than putting a luxury tax on a vehicle only to go there for people to rise against and you drop it? You can't experiment with taxes. Yes. You cannot. And this is the second time. The first time it was personal incomes. He shoot the personal incomes and then later on he withdrew it. He has no empirical evidence of what he does. It comes to him that emotionally he does that. I believe in tax system. In tax, you got to have a try and tested approach. Because once you fail, it becomes something else. The president said, the resident manager, he said, why don't we look at digital? And recently I heard Dr. Baumia saying that all the address, a fantastic idea. Fantastic idea. Because if every house in this country, village, you are paying 10 cedis or 5 cedis, do you know the amount of revenue we generate?
It will be huge.
Let us talk about these, is it identification or what do you call it?
The national identification system.
Let me tell you, they should take it serious and take their time, like we do census. Go from house to house. Not the way they are running around it. They go there, the systems have failed. They go there, the systems are not working. Let me tell you, in my area, 50% hasn't registered. But they have finished and gone. We have tried it before. President Kufuor time, when Professor Dumont was the chairman of the... We tried it because instead of taking our time, as if we are competing with somebody, let us do it systematically, do it proactively, understand it, and make everybody come on the net.